all the programs that are running in your life that you aren't content with, we can change. You have the ability to change that. And I lay the foundation for you to be able to change this. I didn't want to withhold any information. I wanted to share the most valuable information possible to really expand your consciousness. Like, there is going to be information in there that you've never heard of before. There is going to be information in there that's literally going to turn the cogs of your brain. You're going to feel the cogs churning as you go, wow, I've never thought of things like that. When we're controlled, mind controlled, indoctrinated, we put our blinkers on. We're unable to see the full 360 degrees of anything that is happening to us. And it's so easy to be triggered into victim mode. And I'm giving you the tools to break free. And they're easy. There's a lot of information because I'm sharing the science, the scientific explanation of spirituality. And I don't know anyone else that's doing that. So you won't be sounding woo-woo when you explain to people the training course that you're undertaking. It is so deep, so profound. It's physics. We're working with quantum physics and real aspects of your human biology and physiology. So it's going to take everything to the next level. And I think the world is ready to hear it. And if you're watching this, you're ready to hear it too. You're ready to be part of it. That's why you're here. There's no such thing as a coincidence. And inviting everyone to do the self-healing course, which is the prerequisite to the key energy healing course. If you want to learn how to first self-heal, and then you want to learn how to, beginner level heal other people. Then from there, you can do your advanced key energy training, the master healer. Now that's obviously quite deep. A lot of mind-opening stuff. More so than obviously the first two. The first two levels really are the basics. But when you become a master, you are going to learn incredible knowledge, deep wisdom, from mystery school teachings to a whole lot more. But a lot of these teachings and religious dogma has actually been falsified. And they're using base 10 frequencies. And the truth and total health and harmony resides in base 12 frequencies. I'm going to teach you all of this. I'm going to teach you about all the new technologies that are coming through that help you to heal, healing technologies, ways that you heal yourself, ways that you can heal someone face to face, ways that you can heal someone distantly. And I think that's the future. You can help people all over the world. And the healings that I did today, they could feel it. It was just like, wow. Question today is, can key energy healing be done on children or babies? Can it be done on people without them knowing? Oh, love this question. So, with regards to healing babies, that child, whether it's a baby through to the age of 7, is completely under the control of its mother. So, you can't actually do a healing on a child without the mother being there. Now, for the first 2 years, the child has the same energy field as the mum. So you'd work on the mum, which would therefore work on the baby. And that's how you're channeling your energy. Not channeling, it's the wrong word, because channeling sounds like you're receiving information from another being. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about guiding your healing into that energy field. Now, from the age of 3 onwards, so say the age of 3 to 7, you need consent from the mum. So the mum needs to be in the room. And there's different ways of doing your healing. Like, a lot of it can just be in your head and you're doing it, and that's how I was trained. However, I've always taught to express to my client. When I was trained, back in 2010, it was, don't tell your clients anything. They may not understand. They may get scared. They're not equipped. And I don't feel that we're about holding information here. I think it's worth communicating and going, this is what I see, this is what I'm clearing, this is how I'm doing it, bringing in these colors, I'm being given. Basically, when you're doing the key energy healing, you're being guided the whole time. And if you think that you're forgetting certain things, oh my God, it's great, because Spirit's there going, oh, now you need to do this. and now you need to do that. Oh, and it's like, okay, great, great. So you're doing your thing, but they support you. So it's not like you can get it wrong. And that's why I love this high level of training. And when you can access this, you're going to feel confident and competent. So, yes, it can be done on children and babies. Yes, it can be done on your own. However, it's a little more difficult because the first rules, there's a couple of rules when it comes to key energy healing. The first one is you've got to be neutral. And it's difficult to be neutral with someone that you have a strong attachment to their outcome. So, of course, like if your baby's unwell, you want to send them healing, doing a key energy healing on them, because you're like potentially going to force your will to make it happen, makes it unlawful. You've got to be neutral. So that's why it's great to teach this in a group, because then you can work with other people and say, hey, like if you gelled with someone, you get them to work on your children and you work on their children, that kind of thing, because they can be more impartial. So not imposing your will is foundation, and therefore being neutral. That's also part of the foundation. So when you're saying, can it be done on people without them knowing? What happens is you can't force your will on someone else. So when you go into the healing space, you actually ask their higher self, do I have permission to enter your field? And if you get a yes, then you go in. If you get a no, you can't go in. And you just say to them even before you start, yes, you're giving me your conscious consent. And sometimes, I go to do healings on my family members as well. Just they've all given me consent that I can go in and do it, which is great. So it's kind of different. But sometimes I just go in without prearranging anything. And if I get a yes, then I'll do it. If I get a no, then I don't. Now, if you go ahead, even though you get a no, because it's unlawful, you won't get the guidance that will help you to make it successful. We cannot impose our will on others. Now, you might think, hey, but how come governments are imposing their will, or whatever it may be, or I feel powerless with certain situations? It's through coercion. They get around it by coercing some kind of agreement from you. So that's how they get around the unlawful side of the universal laws and the natural laws. And that's what we're learning in this program: universal laws, natural laws. So what are the real true ways that we govern ourselves as these multidimensional beings? So they're great questions, really great questions. And it's I love it. When you use your own energy, you get exhausted. So when you hear of healers that get sick and they're sick and unhealthy, or it's too taxing for them to be healing, they're not being neutral. And what the key energy healing does through energy hygiene techniques and different ways of teaching you how to manage energy flow, you never use your own energy. You're connecting to immense source energy, God energy and Mother Earth energy that flows through you, and you're just like passing the cup, so to speak. You pass the cup, but you never let go of the cup. You fill your own cup up with that energy first, and then you give it to them. So you could feel tired before a healing, but you're getting charged up during the healing, and then you get the client to feel that as well, or your family member. Now, with my training, for you to be certified, to have your certificate, to be qualified, to then get your insurance, you need to have 25 hours of practice. 25 hours. And you want that because when you graduate, you want to hit the ground running and help as many people as you can. So the 25 hours is you practicing on people, friends, family, different people in the course. And a healing normally takes 30 to 40 minutes, but then you have a discussion with the person before and or after. Because people like to talk, they like to be seen, they like to be heard. If it's a regular client, there's always things to catch up on. And it's funny because even though certain things are mentioned prior to the healing, your goal is to just give this person the most thorough healing possible. So other things might come up, which will then clear the way for what they desire. And the healing that you create for them is a 28-day process. They're going to feel that healing across the 28 days. So they're not to do any other healing in that time. Otherwise, what's the point? It's processing. It's taking a while to process. Like, think of the way we used to process old photos in a solution, in the dark room. It's like it's still processing. There's no point taking a whole bunch of photos again in the same thing, because it was going to process in its own time. So allow it to process, and after the 28 days, you then can help with more healings, or they might choose to do some other form of healing. This is a lot deeper than Reiki. Reiki penetrates the first 7 main chakras, the first 7 main layers, and this goes far beyond. I mean, a lot of my clients nowadays, we're doing 22 chakras, layers, vortexes of energy. Like we're bringing in a lot. The minimum nowadays is normally 12 that I find with my clients. I never really go less than 12. And so again, it's far deeper than Reiki. Now, if you are a Reiki practitioner, that's great. You can add that to your toolbox. I'm the type of healing instructor where I feel that whoever you are, you can bring your skills into this modality. So if you want to use it through dance or through yoga or whatever it is, you can incorporate that. Or, pranic healing or Reiki, whatever. Numerology, astrology, tarot reading, whatever you want to do, however you want to do that. And there is an aspect of the course, if you would like help with creating a business, you get the business support, and you also, from my business coach, so you get that direct support, and also marketing. So if you want to know how to do it, because often for those of us that are good at our craft, marketing and business side can be very tedious, and all you want to do is just have your diary filled so you can help as many people as possible. So doing that business accelerator course might be something that you want to do later on, but first of all, you want to build up your confidence. So that's why doing good 25 hours worth of practice is essential, and you journal that. It gets documented, so everything gets cited. And at the end, when you want to get your qualification, there are 2 examiners. It's important that you have 2 examiners, 2 markers, because that way you get the best feedback. Now, no one fails. You just keep training until you pass. So there's no waste of time, and it's just you building up your skills and your confidence and your competence, and then taking it out to humanity. Another question is, can you get consent from someone's higher self if they've not been able to ask them consciously? Yes. For example, if they're unconscious or demented, yeah, definitely you can. At any time. So for example, say you find out some information, such and such has had an accident, and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't go and physically see them, but you can tune into their higher self, obviously through the techniques that I tell you, and then you commune with their higher self and you ask. And if the higher self says yes, you get a yes, then you can do it. If you get a no, then you don't. And it's always very obvious. For those of you that struggle with body testing, for example, it's more obvious than body testing. It's just a strong answer, because you're not there to impose your will. But you can always ask, are you ready for a healing maybe at a later date, or a healing from someone else? Or if it's a no, it's a no. We've got to acknowledge and respect that, because everyone's on different paths at different times.